Hello everyone, welcome to our Timeless Sunset Tarot. Now, this is a general reading, so just take what resonates with you. It is open to all zodiac signs. It is also timeless, so anytime you find yourself watching this video, you might have a message here for you. Now, let's try to see what is the message at the end of the day. Okay, we have here the Death card. So a chapter has just been closed. Okay. If it is a painful situation that you have just closing right now, you will have to undergo the several process towards acceptance, just like these images here that is shown in the Death card. The most important message here is that we should always look at death as something that delivers us from a painful situation and brings us to a better one. So death is like a knight. It saves us from situations that are not helpful or that are uh, not very ideal for us, and brings us into a better situation, which is symbolized also by the sun that is rising in the distance. Now, there are several ways of accepting, there are several stages towards the acceptance. First, there is that denial, which is symbolized by this little girl who is trying to look away from death. There is this bargaining. Now, there is one here that is not shown, which is anger. So sometimes you deny first, and then later on you try to, when you realize you cannot avoid anymore the closing of that situation or that chapter, then you try to bargain. When you realize that after you try to bargain, it's still not going to, there will be no changes, it will really have to close. Then sometimes there's also that stage of anger. Now, later on, there is that complete surrender, which can be symbolized by this king who cannot do anything because he is already dead. The only thing he can do is to accept the situation and allow himself to go to the next chapter or to the next dimension. Now, there is another here, which is a proactive way of looking at the closing of the chapter, which can be symbolized by this little girl who is holding a bouquet of flower and is facing death. And I feel this is the best way to accept a closing of a chapter, especially if it is a painful one. And especially when you know that you are being delivered by the universe from a certain situation in order to bring you to a better one. So what happens here is you accept it openly because you know that what awaits you is something better. So there is that hope for something better. There is that faith and that trust to the divine that this chapter is closing because the universe or the spirit feels that we deserve something better. So somehow this is very important right now. So at the end of this day, just like the setting of the sun, we await the sunrise, which is the new chapter that will open. So today, something is closing in your life. And a new one is waiting for you to accept it. Now, let's try to see how it will unfold. You see, there is the star. There are hundreds of stars. Okay, there are many stars there, and there's a bird singing in the distance. It's as if the universe is telling you, accept the closing of the chapter and listen. Don't worry, you will have all the support you need as you enter this new chapter. And there are messages that are coming there. Listen and accept it. At the same time, this is a moment for you for healing, for cleansing. So as you enter the new chapter, there's a need for you to nurture yourself. You need to cleanse yourself of whatever negative energies, negative thoughts, negative emotions that you might have carried with you in the previous experience that you had. It's time for you to cleanse yourself of all these negative burdens, to declutter yourself of whatever baggages you have been carrying in the past. It's time for you to cleanse yourself, just as this star is taking a bath. Now, it's important for you also to attain a certain balance. You need to nurture your inner self, which is symbolized by this water in the pan. At the same time, you need to nurture your exterior world. You are in touch with your intuition, just as this foot that is dipped in the pond, and you are grounded, just as the knee and the foot are attached to the earth. And when you do that, things will be flourishing in your exterior world, and at the same time, there will be stillness in your inner world. So, right now is also a very good opportunity for you to attain a certain balance in your person. Now, the star symbolizes that you will shine. And I think you will shine because of this new hope that awaits you. Just like this little girl who is offering a bouquet of flowers. You will shine, especially after you've done the cleansing, decluttering of your life, and healing. After that healing, the promise of better days awaits you. Now let's try to see what is the advice of the universe. Well, be on fire just like the page of wands. Be open to the adventure of a new chapter or a new journey in your life, just like the page of wands. And also don't be afraid to be yourself. The page of wands is dressed uniquely because he is not afraid to be himself. Even the cap that he has is in a unique sense. For me, the cap can also symbolize not being afraid to have a different point of view in life, a different idea, to be open to whatever inspiration that the universe is giving you through the bird that is singing, somehow not to be afraid to share to the world the inspiration that you have, and to face this new chapter with a sense of adventure, openness to new things, and being on fire. So this is what we have for our tarot reading for our Timeless Sunset Tarot. It's a very good transition moment for you. And if you spend time to nurture yourself, to cleanse yourself, and to listen to the guidance of the universe, then you will be able to face the adventure with confidence and being on fire. So now let's go to the second part, which is Insights at Twilight. For our Insights at Twilight, the message comes from Jean Shinoda Bolin. And the message is, when you recover or discover something that nourishes your soul and brings joy, care enough about yourself to make room for it in your life. So when you look at it, this message is very much in parallel or in correlation with our tarot reading, which showed us the card of the star, where the person is nurturing herself. She is cleansing herself. She is taking care of her health. So when you discover something that nourishes your soul and brings you joy, make room for it in your life. At the same time, when you look at the death card also, somehow the spirit of the little girl who is holding a bouquet of flowers, as if welcoming with joy the death, or the death who is a knight, somehow is also like that. She discovers or she realizes that the new chapter that awaits her is something that will bring her joy and something that will nourish her. And so she gives room for it in her life. She welcomes it with a bouquet of flowers. At the same time also, when we look at the Page of Wands, the Page of Wands has dressed himself in order to go on an adventure. So he also looks at the new chapter as something positive, something that will allow him to nourish himself, something that will allow him to find joy. And so he also makes room for it. He opens himself to the adventure. He welcomes the new adventure, which can be symbolized by the new chapter that is opening in your life. So the important thing is to always have that room for growth, always have that room in ourselves for something that will benefit us. So it's always like having that certain balance, that you do not only just give and give and give, but at the same time also to set a space also in order to receive. So the reception, the things that we receive can be from our exterior world, which is to be gracious enough to say, to welcome and to accept, like being a gracious receiver of the generosity that other people also offers us. At the same time, at an inner level, at the deeper level, to be open also to the good things that the universe is willing to give us. each day. So that there's also that importance of having that spirit of thankfulness wherein we welcome it with joy, we welcome it with gratitude. So we welcome the great generosity from the exterior world and from our inner world with gratitude, with joy. When we welcome them with gratitude and joy, it's as if we are providing a room or a space within us in order to receive the positive things that we know will be helpful for us in our life's journey. So it's important for us to nurture ourselves, important for us to be gracious receivers, important for us also to appreciate them by saying thank you. When you appreciate the things that you receive, it brings us positive energies. It makes us realize how blessed we are. It makes us realize that we are not alone and that we are loved. So that's the thing that we need to always remember. And somehow that is somehow in when we look at it, somehow it's what is the message that we are receiving right now, not only from the tarot card reading, but also from our insights at twilight. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for the likes and comments you've given to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. I hope to see you again soon. Until that time, may God continue to bless your ways.